to the table. Obviously, like you said, he lacks team fight. He doesn't have anything AoE, but what he does in terms of single target focus, I think, is going to be pretty huge, and it just comes down to full tempo. So,
yeah, I think the chaos factor is where he has maybe the edge over the Drow here, because he can scout out the backlines and see when the heroes are going to be coming in with blink initiations. Have it even worse early game because they have to buy sentries as well as dust for detection. So I think from that point of view, it just makes LGD have be put even more just off tempo because of this pick. So last pick for LGD is a Zeus, and this is another terrible early game hero. 0 laning presence. I think LGD have been heavily after this game.
They have a very clear plan, and it's just going to be like, I don't know, at this point it is full turtle. It is just try to get off their feet, just try to get everybody to level 6. As soon as everybody hits level 6, LGD's draft might even be better, but the levels 1 through 5 are so abysmal that you have to favor Empire's draft. They have so much potential fighting at level 2 and 3 that LGD lack completely. They have absolutely nothing but like an avalanche toss to bring to their early combat. It's just... it is going to be quite miserable for them for the laning stage, but if they can weather that storm, if they can somehow stifle the aggression from Empire, they can pull it back with some crazy team fight. But I feel like they already had that factor, and I don't think the Zeus really enables them in much more of a capacity. I mean, Xiaowei going to be picking it up here, looking to just spam out Arc Lightning to counter push. What was the last ban for Empire, by the way? Do you remember that?
Ancient Apparition, I believe.
Okay, because I was thinking maybe a Keeper the Light pick could come through again, and that seems to be still on the table, but they go for the Zeus, and although he still has some similarities, I still feel like, unless there's some really... I mean, obviously he has the detection, right? You were talking about the issues with Sentry Wards for supports. At least you get the Lightning Bolt that kind of gives you some understanding of Clinks' positioning, the Thunder God's Wrath as well.
So we'll see how things develop here. Clinks and Viper, both bounty runes going the way of Empire, as well as if the early game wasn't really hard enough for LGD. And it's going to be that aggro dual lane you talked about. Undying with Tusk up top, up against an LGD tri lane. Xiaowei at least for now near the top lane vicinity with Sentry Wards, although he's not going to need it for the pull D ward. The pull camp is available for Team LGD.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to go for the double Iron Shell here, just going to be silent. Actually, starting with Skeleton Walk here. I'm not sure if that was that allowing him to get the bounty rune? It looks like he did use it earlier, so...
Let's snipe the bounty rune, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, once he gets level 2, he'll be in a much better situation here, killing off the Iron Shell creeps with the Searing Arrows much faster. And just building himself up, probably for an early soul run. We're actually going to see Yao take some decent damage here from a couple of Searing Arrows and, of course, the Paralyzing Cask. But in the end, Yao should still find his way to level 3 pretty easy, and that's where things get a little bit more difficult. We're going to see in the laning phase here, one real great strength of Empire is their orb effects. The fact that they can manually harass their opponents without taking creep aggro. And Resolution is going to be showing this off right now. Already putting a couple of hits into maybe. He's put him under his tower twice now. He looks to do it a third time here. And as long as he positions himself carefully, he can't be punished for this.
Yeah, Resolution. This is I mean, all 3 lanes seem advantageous to me for Empire. Even the 2v3 lane up top. The killing potential from an IO Zeus is non-existent. And this is an IO who's not been getting many levels as well, being in a pseudo tri lane. So he's already level 2 at least, has some points in the spirits, but overall this lane is going to be very, very rough for LGD, as are the other 2 lanes. So... I think Empire are going to pull off to a very... I mean, this is what we expected. You see the draft, LGD are even expecting this themselves. They're not expecting to have a good laning stage.
Absolutely. No, they didn't. I mean, they went pretty much all in on a position where they just say, okay, well, we're getting nothing out of the lanes. Let's see what we can do outside of the laning phase. And it just comes down to where they can find that opening, where they can find that opportunity. We're actually going to see a snowball coming in onto the west. He's already eating 1 decay, down to 100 HP, down to 0. It's the first blood.
Huge decay bonus strength there. He had 3 already and then got an extra 2 as they snowballed in. That was just... I mean, not just stealing the strength, I mean, we talked about that against the IO, but having 83 damage as well on your right clicks was just too much to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strength deal of 4. He had 2 stacks on him, so the IO is actually down to 11 strength at that point in time. Very low max HP. Now we see another snowball play coming in forward, trying to bring down Sylar. It looks like it will not succeed, and actually Aloha Dance dropping really low, but the magic stick keeps him up. We'll have to salve here to make sure he's okay, but with Jowade out of mana, that won't be cancelled, and they'll keep the aggression alive. We'll see maybe the first Arcane Boots coming out pretty soon here. When they get Arcanes, this lane is pretty much a freebie for Aloha Dance and Yoki.
Yoki's got the double mango. He says, screw Arcanes. Let's do something different here.
That's a little...
I like it, you know?
Could you just go with Clarity and back off the lane a little? I don't know, dude.
He's the one wasting time. He's surging that curry out, bringing them mangoes, ready to go. He wants to keep on fighting. Going for a 1-1-1 build. Sometimes you'd even see like a second point in decay in a lane like this, but I guess the Tombstone also can synergize really nicely once you get points in Sigil.
Xinyao is going to be already forced back to base once. He surges and boots back home to refill the fountain. Now he's out here trying to trade hits with Always Wanna Fly. In the meantime, Silent, pretty much free farming, 20 and 13. Tusk taking a lot of damage here. Actually going to be the Ice Shards zoning them back. Yoki, they go for the double decay and Snowball right on MMY. He does tether to the creep instead of a hero though, and that's the play that saves his life. We're still seeing Yoki in a pretty offensive position here. Big Soul Rip available, but only level 1. And it looks like they're just going to take one quick Centaur. Good gold away from the side of LGD, and now I don't even know. I mean, MMY will use the Soul Ring to hit
for Undying. He just spent 300 gold, ate 2 mangoes.
Oh, jeez.
He didn't really get anything out of it. I don't know about that. That's questionable play.
Yeah, and Tusk intentionally suiciding to the neutrals, so he does buy out his stat items beforehand, doesn't lose anything for it. And Always Wanna Fly is going to be okay.
Sorry.
Oh, he was caught out by the bottom room, but he TP'd away fine, so... Yeah, at this point, Empire still looking pretty good, but as you said, Yoki essentially wasting 300 gold. Those consumables don't grow back. I mean, that is something that you... It's not like going like a bottle, right? Like a bottle is a burst of mana and HP where like you get to solidify your laning advantage, but then you also get to refill it later on runes or back in the fountain. Buying double mango like that, you just... I don't know, you just... really throw a lot of money in the trash can if it fails, and in this case it didn't get them a kill.
Yeah, well, top lane, more initiations coming in this time from LGD, the snowball out.
It's to Zeus though, I think. Oh, good positioning from Jowade.
Nice.
That's going to be the first kill for LGD. The first one being a suicide against them, but this time actually successfully getting the kill on the Tiny. And he's actually going to have a pretty good game at this point. I mean, yeah, his last hits are limited, but he gets a kill. And he's also got a Wisp behind him with a Soul Ring. So Sylar's always going to have full mana available. And it's just going to be about getting involved with his HP pool. Magic Wand Bracer. He can stand and deliver, take a few shots here. And I actually think that Yoki has to be a little bit wary at this point. Oh, but MMY, maybe even more so. She's that HP pool.
LGD getting crushed in the 2 solo lanes, though. I mean, maybe mid on the Magnus has no CS. Darkseid's even struggling to farm against the dual lane as well, so you expect Darkseid to have more CS considering he's in a 1v2 setup, but Clinks with the Searing Arrows bonus damage just able to deal with the Iron Shell.
Exactly, and the Death Pact as well. Now that he has the Soul Ring, he'll just pretty much use that whenever that's off cooldown, and it's an easy way out. Darkseid not even at level 5, and actually going to be seeing a cast fly out. Maybe a lucky bounce coming back? No, he will be able to make his way to the trees. Silent taking a few pot shots back the other way, but that Iron Shell's not going to last too long. It's going to be seared down pretty quickly. Darkseid doesn't... He might get one last hit out of it, and it's denied. Silent denying 2 creeps against the Darkseid 3. Yeah, finally gets level 5, but as far as gold goes, he's not getting anything from the lane.
This is no fun for him.
I like this play from Jowade though. It's a dangerous place to move and rotate. He could easily be snowballed upon, but just knowing or guessing they're going to be just farming the jungle on the side, he actually gets a very gutsy ward out, and it's going to help them a ton if we do see the Tusk start rotating towards the mid lane. But in the meantime, Aloha Dance getting maybe even a better ward coming out here. Dire will not see this whatsoever, and that is going to give them some great intel behind the tier 1 tower to go for a snowball play.
Yeah, and Yoki does need to be a bit careful. He's playing around on fairly low HP. He's picked up what looks to be the makings of an urn here after a completed wand, and not exactly in the best fighting shape, but all across the lanes going very well for Team Empire. All 3 of their calls farming, and it's just the Tiny with decent CS on the Dire side. Styler with just your bare basics. One, you're gonna get some treads, bracer, etc. And Magnus is just completely rotating the jungle. I do like this move from LGD. Give Zhao 8 XP in mid lane, have Magnus farm up the jungle, because Magnus wasn't getting any farm anyways in the mid lane. So yeah, Zeus isn't gonna be able to do too much mid, but he's gonna get some CS here or there and get much quicker level 6.
Yep, so, I mean, he's farming up double stacks left and right, first the hard camp, now the medium, and that's going to put him in a position where he can still do something. At least if the enemy tower dives through, he can kind of respond. It's kind of like an Earthshaker without a Blink Dagger. It's like you wait for them to go and overextend, and then you really punish them with your ultimate. But in this case, it's still going to help with the fact he has Skewer, that is a vacuum, but we're going to see a snowball up top. Aloha Dance dropping very low. Magic Wand keeps him alive a moment longer, but now we're going to see MMY dropping down quickly. One more hit will secure the kill, and then we're going to see him just control the top lane while Clinks gets a kill on the Zeus mid. So making an early rotation here. No items really needed, just sad items, and he's going to be able to bring down that low armor, low HP Zeus.
That's a good rotation too. Open up bottom lane for Witch Doctor to get some solo XP and even some CS here or there, and just something that happens very quickly where Clinks, he goes missing for a second, you think he's maybe just in his jungle, but suddenly he shows up mid and punishes Zeus. That's the one vulnerability of sending Zeus mid, taking over lane instead of Magnus, very prone to getting ganked. That's where I think I love seeing teams who punish the supports taking over lane, because those supports like Zeus or AA or whatever it may be can be so easy to get.
And already some heavy pressure on this tier 1 top tower. We're going to see actually Silent under the sentry ward. Get spooked by the avalanche, and he won't be caught in like a skewer play or anything. If they had really just been really patient about that, then maybe they could have skewered him towards the Dire tier 1, and then he would have retreated into the sentry ward. But I think maybe a creep gave it away, and he does end up just walking out. But we see the top tier 1 go down, the fortification resets, and I think this is a really strong build coming in from Resolution, actually. Going for 2 points in Nether Toxin for a little bit of extra push, as that does work on towers, and then going in Treads, Aquila, Wand into mech. He's got plenty of mana to work with now, and he's going to be using this mech in any team fight that happens while they're pushing the towers. In the meantime, Undying, almost level 6. For right now, the 1-1-3 build is going to try to find an opening here on Maybe, who is actually out of mana, but will be able to TP.
Yeah, multi TP before Aloha Dance could make his appearance, and Clint's still kind of hunting around, giving Witch Doctor a bit more space in the lane. Witch Doctor approaching level 6, and we'll see how things develop, but it looks like for the most part they're going to be wanting to pressure the towers at this stage. They've been Undying, decent levels. Clinks has got his max out Searing Arrow, so he can push fairly quickly, but the openings to push right now, not the best. Viper a bit short. Actually, his mech's coming out in the Courier, so maybe around this mech though to get some more towers.
Yeah, 2 big power spikes coming out here. Resolution's mechanism is really huge, and then the Clink's Orchid is going to be immense. If they can take out all the tier 1s, by the time the Orchid comes out on the Clinks, then they can just dominate the Dire jungle, and they're going to have to spam sentry wards all over the place, as well as probably use a scouting ulti from Zhao 8, which you just hit level 6. You don't want to be using a scouting ultimate, but right now he barely has mana to support anything, and he's going to be relying on Magic Stick to try to maybe turn a fight. Resolution putting some good damage in this tier 1, but still will maintain 300 HP. I love this play from Always Wanna Fly though. Getting the ward back here. Actually, top lane Yoki goes down. Choose Sylar MMY combo while the snowball connects onto the Magnus in mid, so they take him down pretty quickly. And Resolution goes for a self mech here, so he's the only one really hurting. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 across the map, but with that tower follow up, it looks like Empire are going to continue to pull ahead.
Good Clinks rotations, and at this point, Empire, they're ahead by like 5k gold, 3k experience, and there's nothing LGD's draft could have done to prevent that. That's purely a draft thing. It's not like Empire have done anything crazy impressive in the laning stage. They've just played their draft, executed a decent level, and LGD just this is purely hero and draft related. I mean, Zhao had to expect coming into this game that 10 minutes in he was going to be behind. Maybe he wasn't thinking 5k gold. Maybe he was hoping it would just be like 3k gold, but this is how things are right now, and it can't really be changed anytime soon until the Blink Daggers come online.
Yeah, but now Zhao is going to be walking into 2 heroes here, and enough Searing Arrows will be able to bring him down. Nice damage coming in from Clinks, and just fueling the momentum towards that Orchid Malevolence. Aloha Dance also here, maybe looking for a snowball play. They do have Observer Ward vision beyond that what maybe would expect. He'll say, okay, they can only see to this point thanks to their creeps, but the Observer Ward will actually allow them to dive even into the tier 2 tower in full. So maybe he has to play very cautiously here, because he cannot afford to delay this Blink Dagger any further.
He's gonna sit right back. He needs it and needs it soon. Problem is, he can't really farm his own jungle. They've lost the tier 1 mid and tier 1 top, so that dire jungle, very easy for Empire to rotate in and look to punish. But for now, Silent's going to sit in the safe lane. He's a bit short on his Orchid, so maybe he should at least have that Blink Dagger by the time the Clink's Orchid comes in.
Yeah, this tier 1 tower is going to help a lot too.
Yeah, I'm curious as well as if Tiny's going to go Blink Dagger this game. If he feels like he's going to need that extra fighting potential because of the state of the early to mid game, where LGD are going to be wanting to maybe follow up the Blink RP with a Tiny.
I thought that might be a good idea, but he says, I'm just going to go for the cleave outright. He has the point booster here, and there's no reason to really to buy the point booster when you've already got this much health and mana to work with. So he definitely wants to turn that into the axe. And then he's going to combo it up with the Empower, but right now maybe his under-leveled factor makes it so there's not a single point in Empower to be had, and that's going to be that way for a little while, I'd say. I mean, right now, level 7 seems to be the median for both sides. I mean, there's like 4 heroes that are at level 7 right now, and 2 that are outstanding. Level 10, Clink, level 11, Viper, and they will connect with a Viper Strike onto maybe, but he'll just kind of make his way out with the Skewer, add the TP if necessary.
So
bottom though, yeah. Nice pickup there.
Nicely played by Silent. And that's going to be most of the rest of his Orchid, so Silent in a fantastic position to start taking control of this game. Just needs the recipe to come flying out. Simultaneously maybe does a Blink Dagger now, but the Orchid, much bigger and much scarier item at this point, it feels like.
But we are going to be seeing this Blink Dagger come out on Magnus, so it's actually going to be on the Clinks to prevent these RPs. Like, they actually only have that and maybe like a snowball save. If the Tusk could get like a Blink Dagger or something like that, then that's possible. But as this is a support Tusk with only 2 last hits, it's going to be the Tread's drum build-up, and that really delays any possible Blink Dagger pickup from him. So in the end, it's going to be a smoke rotation here, and they're going to just jump on a single RP into Yoki, and that is going to be a worthwhile kill. Even if he pops everything here, he's still going down to the tiny right click, and yeah, they'll commit any ultimate they need to just to get one kill on a core hero.
They almost got it out too. Clinks pinged it right before they came out of the smoke because the Iron Shelled smoked up hero was hitting the creep.
Oh, but they do find a snowball onto Sylar, and down he's going to go. Nice toss play, but it actually could have risked MMY's life in the end. They commit the Death Ward, the TP will not be successful, and down bottom, Clinks goes in and kills off Xiao. He kills off Yao! He's going 1v3! This is such insane damage coming in from the Clinks. He's got 1500 health with his ultimate alive, and he is just plowing through everybody. MMY going down next. Sentry Ward? Screw that, I'm just going to be able to DPS you down, and maybe barely gets out alive. 200 HP remaining. It's a triple kill for Silent. Turns 1v3 into 2v4, and Silent brings down everyone with just an incredible death pack there, just getting the perfect creep in the jungle to give him a raw HP pool that is impossible for LGD to deal with.
That was sick. That was just great knowledge of what he was capable of as well, and how bad LGD is at teamfighting currently. Just
dire structures.
When Clinks can go in 1v3 and then backup arrives, it just destroys LGD. LGD have such limited fighting potential. It's entirely around like an ult or two, and even then, it's not all that impressive. The follow-up damage to an RP is, I mean, the best follow-up damage you have is the tiny combo. That's the crazy thing here. It's not like Zeus is dishing out huge amounts of damage. He's actually going for a max lightning build.
And maybe he's down again too. He doesn't get the blink in time. Jeez, Silent's about to just be putting on a clinic at this point. He's about to buy a Helm of the Dominator, I believe. He bought and sold the Helm of the Iron Will, but if he picks that up, he gets a bonus to the creeps that he's munching on. So you'll see here, he eats the troll, and suddenly he's up to 1560 HP and nearly 200 damage. Like, that's just impossible for LGD to prevent, unless Xiao casts like 10 spells. But we're going to see Silent, yeah, just finding MMY, one Silent, silence and 3 right clicks will do the trick here. Nice attempt for the avalanche, but it's already too late. He just does too much. This is his jungle now. This is his entire map.
And that was with scanning that with the sentry. He got scanned up by the sentry, and Wisp was just like, what do? I'm stuck. I mean, maybe I could try run to the T2 tower, but there's so much open space that he tried to use the tree fog and it didn't work.
Now we'll see a nice observer ward forward. Jiawei doesn't see him place it, so no lightning to scout it out. And Aloadance actually had a pretty good opportunity to maybe snowball, but it's hard to commit to that against the Surge. If he just gets, 50 units away from that snowball before it connects, then he'll be able to outrun it and pull you into a very bad spot for that RP to follow up. And that's one aspect we haven't really talked about, but every game we've talked about the Tusk, one drawback is the snowball clumps up the people in it. As soon as that dispels, then suddenly you're trapped in for an AoE wombo combo. Well, this draft is all about wombo combo, avalanche toss, reverse polarity, vacuum, but I feel like they just drafted so much to counteract that Tusk effect that they really don't have that much to deal with the heavy push, the death ball, and of course the Clinks.
Clinks, speaking of which, up top, looking to go in on Sylar, and will do so with the Orchid. Is there a relocate available? I think he's going to need the overcharge shield. Going to be just enough. That overcharge on the Orchid damage, I believe, helped keeping him alive.
Yeah, the heal from MMY, the magic wand, the point booster, every aspect of that, just trying to keep him alive that little bit. And actually it was Clinks that was kind of fortunate not to get hit by the craggy exterior. The Tiny skilled it up early, and Clinks was in melee range for 2 or 3 shots, so could have gone the other way as far as that stun, but in the end it's the Wisp to make the save. Lightning Bolt actually going to be doing some good damage to Always Want to Fly, but he just walks away with the Voodoo Restoration, and now they have some really easy kills coming out. Xiao 1 hit, no, he survives! Yao's going to be the target.
Silence. He was going to defend the vacuum and got punished. Maybe he's there and he's like, I've got an RP, he could RP 3 heroes maybe, but wouldn't have done anything apart from probably get himself killed. He RPs, he gets hit by the Corrosive, it slows him down, and then he gets chased down by Clinks and Tusk.
So now we're going to be seeing them just go for their next push, their next easy objective in the Tier 2 tower. And Silent, though, kind of just lurking in the shadows, looking for an opportunity here. It's going to be really hard to find, maybe. I like this positioning from him. He is just so far into the fog of war that there's no reason that Silent should be able to find a kill, even if he does get close in position. Just because he's under the tower, he has the blink, and he has line of sight blockers like those trees.
Well, this game getting very problematic for LGD. They've got the Accept to complete on Tiny, but that's about the only thing going their way as far as items go. Their next highest net worth hero is 4.5k at 20 minutes in. That is just not going to cut it when the Empire side.
RP is going to come down 2 on bottom, though, taking massive damage to the mech. Will help them out, but the snowball doesn't come out in time. It will be Clinks to look to clean it up. Xiao dropping and falling to the soul burn, but it's still a 2 for 1, and that is huge for LGD. Anytime they can find that opening is immense, but Silent might still be able to punish harder. Tombstone, they literally just want them to come out and hit the Tombstone so that Silent can find some freebie kills, but LGD play it safe and cool, calm, and collected. They're going to be able to get a pretty good comeback gold swing from that.
I think Silent may do some damage to T2, especially around the RP cooldown. They should be able to get a big done now. And they'll have pretty short respawns on some heroes like this Swiper coming back in.
Could go Surge Skewer. Oh, can't get it. Silent's able to outmaneuver, and Thunder God's Wrath will just kind of keep tabs on everyone. So Clink can stay in this position, be ready to go, and you'll note that his Helm of the Dominator is on cooldown. For those that don't understand the mechanic, it gives 500 bonus health to whatever creep he dominates, and then he eats it immediately thereafter. So he gets a huge boost in his health pool, in his damage pool, because that creep is even beefier than before.
Yeah. Empire is going to look to maybe get some objectives here while the RP is on cooldown. At least I feel like they should be taking either the T2 bottom, making an attempt on Roshan. There's no RP, there's no wall, but those ultis going to come back up if Empire aren't quick about taking some kind of a objective here.
Well, there is a relocate coming up in just a couple seconds. This is a double damage Tiny with Drums of Endurance. Like, if something's gonna change, it's gonna be that. Actually, Silent gonna get skewered into the Zeus. Take the Zeus if you want, but we're gonna take your life. Turning it back around here. Silent runs as far as he can into the trees, but the Lightning Bolt scouts him out where the spirits need to connect. Silent almost getting out of this alive. The Shockwave finishes him inside the base, and in the meantime, Empire aren't really doing anything. They're not taking the Tier 2, and Tiny goes back. What was that streak? We'll check the replay recap for this one.
That was huge. 900 gold for Magnus, 2.2k gold swing off of 1 kill. That's a big mistake. It's costly stuff.
Yeah, you can't make that kind of play without an Aegis, honestly. You have to cover your advantage. If 6.83 has taught us anything, it's protect your advantage at that when the stakes are that high. And in this case, they throw a bunch away. Yeah.
You don't do that kind of thing against Wiz Timing. This is LGD's. I mean, this is kind of their game plan from the beginning. You see a draft like this, and you're like, okay, they've lost the early game. They can't do anything until they have Blink Dagger on Magnus, and even then, they win, like, maybe get a kill or two with a Blink RP and some follow-up, and then they can't really defend towers. But getting a freeboot on Clinks like that hugely offsets, like, that was meant to be their lineup's downtime. And when they find a kill on a Beyond Godlike Clinks during their lineup's downtime period, that really sets them in a pretty good position.
Yeah. My fight recaps seem to be broken right now. They don't pop up for me, but I'm assuming that the Zeus and the Wisp also got a really big chunk of that because they are the 4 and 5 position heroes, and the way that Comeback Gold works now is they get an even bigger piece of the pie in that context. So we're going to see Zeus turn that into about half a Yule Scepter, and that's how you survive against the Clinks when you're caught out by yourself. It's just Yules yourself, break the silence, and buy your teammates time to come in and bring you aid.
Well, Zeus delivers and scouts out a smoke gank as well now, although Witch Doctor still uses to get down a pretty deep observer ward up top lane. So what the move for Empire is going to be, they have kind of set up shop in the dire jungle for now, while some other heroes are down bottom looking for a pick-off with that Blink Magnus.
Would be huge. They have the relocate, they have Dust, and we're really looking for that opportunity, but Clinks just heads off into the jungle, and we'll just see him go for a quick Death Pact to bring himself up, and now he's at almost 1900 HP. Now that he's level 16, the Death Pact does even more, and he's about to find BKB on top of that, so he's ready to fight, and on top of that fight, he's going to have a huge pickup in this BKB.
I like what LGD do. They're planning sentries with their observer ward, so you can scout the Clinks' movement around the map when you have the observer ward vision with the sentry. They have it at top lane, they have it at mid lane, they have it by the secret shop. They've got the observer sentry in multiple locations. This is a really nice way to play against Clinks because you see him coming. If you're just putting sentry ward, you don't see him coming. If you just put observer ward, you don't see him coming. But this is something I feel like not enough teams do when they're playing against heroes like Clinks, heroes with Shadow Blades, Riki, whatever it may be. Riki obviously not as prevalent in the meta, but this is like one of the best ways of actually countering his movement around the map.
It used to be very common when Nyx was a very common pickup, because people would always just get the rune spawns and cover them up with Observer Sentry combos, and that's how you would kind of counter-initiate on that. You can see Sylar eat some Viper Strike action, but MMY is here to bail him out with the Overcharge Tether, and although he will take some hits, it won't be the end of the world for him. Though Viper with the Aghanim Scepter will also get his ulti cooldown, so no real commitment from either side. Now we're going to see Magnus move in towards level 11. When he has that, there's just that extra stun duration for his RP, which might be what they need to get the Clinks kill. But for now, Clinks is on the hunt forward against Xiao 8, but like you said, they have a pretty good idea of how he's moving thanks to their wards.
Yeah, they have great coverage here, and this is where I think Empire want to group up more. And this is also where their lineup, I think, maybe could have benefited more from a Drow because they would have more 5-man sieging potential, but the Viper can make it work. The Viper is gone for an Axe with a Vlad of all items, but this Vlad is a great team fighting item. Gives them some nice lifesteal as well as bonus armor for them to fight around, and it looks like they're going to use that to take the tier 2 mid and maybe even swing towards Roshan.
So how much lifesteal does a Clinks actually get right now? Even with Searing Arrows active, thanks to the fact that it's not a unique attack modifier, he's actually getting 25% lifesteal per attack, thanks to the Vlads, thanks to his own Humble Dominator. So, I mean, that's not insubstantial. I mean, that gives him a lot of survivability. When he's got 25% lifesteal, his BKB is active, and he's sitting at 2200 HP, pretty much you have to throw every spell in the book at him, and he's still going to keep on kicking. But now we're going to see a bit of a base race play here. Sylar and MMY here are looking at the top tier 3, and the Roche has just fallen for Empire. Where are the TPs coming in? They have only one TP scroll on the Undying. They're gonna lose a tier 3 tower outright for nothing. They could get the Roche, but
they didn't know. I guess Clinks is nearby, but
yeah, no, I mean, there's still something on the hunt. The courier should go down. One hit from Silent will take care of that one. But yeah, I mean, this is an error they cannot repeat. Losing out just one free tier 3 tower. The Roche, I'm pretty sure was theirs anyways. I mean, LGD have some insane pit fighting potential, but all the same.
It was risky because Magnus came with an Iron Shell, but they used the Viper Strike from the low ground in the pit to the high ground to prevent the Magnus blink, which was a nice little play. Did cost them Observer Ward. Like, they did the high ground Observer Ward, which was very obvious once you throw that Viper Strike, but if he hadn't, Magnus comes in, hits a big RP, skewers someone out of the Roshan pit onto the high ground, and then suddenly you found a pick off and prevented Roshan.
Yeah, Clinks is looking for a hunt down towards maybe the Dire Ancients, but he's going to completely bypass Yao. They don't realize that he's in this position. Now we're going to see Silent instead find out MMY and Sylar. There is sentries on MMY, but he's not going to get a chance to use them as he goes down 3 hits, and Silent pops the BKB. It will prevent the stun, but it doesn't enable him for any more kills, so 10-second BKB will be down here, and that's going to be on cooldown for 70 seconds.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it'd go. I saw that, I'm like, does he go for this? Is it worth the 10-second BKB? I guess in the end it is. It prevents Tiny from having some farming time and gets Clinks another kill, gets him some momentum again. But does cost him the 10.
Yeah. And although it's clear from the bird's eye view that the BKB wasn't actually necessary there, would just prevent some tiny damage, Clinks, you have to realize what Clinks sees on the map. So in this position, he was roaming in, completely blind, just looking for opportunities, and they had absolutely no idea what was lurking around this corner here. So he does just prevent 1 stun because, for all you know, 1 stun turns into 4. So good, still a good decision, and yeah, we'll see the pipe pop and the tier 3 fortified very early on. Strafe though at the same time. Yeah. Oh, nice silence on a maybe! Maybe goes down, no reverse polarity, has buyback, is gonna have to use it, and the cast will bounce heavily between 2. Amazing usage of the ice shards, zoning them out. Now the Death Ward's gonna do that trick, and it's gonna be all on the Magnus here, but Silent, he has the Orchid in 3 seconds, and there is no BKB on Maybe. This is gonna be the time. If he precasts the next Orchid, Maybe can do nothing here. They've already lost the tier 3 tower, and that was just an incredible silence coming in from Silent. I mean, that's his namesake, but that is exactly what he needs to do this game to guarantee the Rax in their next siege.
Big plays, and Magnus is going to see that and be like, I'm going for BKB now. That cannot happen.
I'm actually astonished he went for 4 staff before BKB in this context.
The other big thing is Yao going for a Ghost Scepter. If Yao has a blink there, he can maybe help out with the vacuum with the wall, but he has very little initiation potential. He's entirely a follow-up for the Magnus at this point. They're relying too much on the Magnus this year.
Ooh, smoke though, gonna be popped on the sidelines here, so they might be able to find a really big vacuum wall, blink, RP, but it's all gonna come down all at once. The pipe will dissipate, and that's gonna be the signal for action. They've already lost 1 Rax though, and yet the smoke is broken, so they don't have an angle of attack particularly, and Silent is just waiting. He's got an observer ward, so he sees Maybe, and they'll just force the silence early. Actually, good movement for Maybe, but if Empire retreat right now, they can make it not worthwhile. Now the Surge, a potential blink, but they still can't find their opening. Viper Strike dodged by the Manta style, but they're not done yet. They've got their BKBs, the Orchid cooling down. As soon as this Orchid is back up, they're ready to push this tier 3.
They even put the Observer right by the sentry. They didn't care. That just secures them a Rax and gets immediately dewatted. Well worth it. It just gives them that little safety that they know they're not going to get hit by an RP.
Yeah. They can't make that play again, though. They don't have any more Observer wards. They have to just eyeball it and make the quick reaction against Maybe here. So we'll see. Right now they have no vision, and it's going to be just a skewer play onto Resolution, bringing him down very quickly. The Snowball not going to come in time, so they pop the Aegis. Yao pops his Ghost Scepter, which turns out to save his life, and try to set up the vacuum, and he gets bounced twice. Paralyzing cast times 2, but finally the vacuum into the wall. Yao will go down to the last right click of Resolution, and as soon as this wall goes down, they have nothing, but Yoki walks in past the wall all by himself and can't survive. So they're going to pop the mech, they're going to head for the hills, and Silent will have to disengage as well, it looks like, as the Darkseer buys back. Yeah, they certainly need to. At this point in time,
they have current goal. Like the Viper with 4.5k, Clinks with 2.4. They can finish up a couple items. Wait for their skills to reset. They took a lane of Rax at mid. They started a buyback on the Darkseer and did good damage to the tier 3 tower. Empire did more than enough damage to justify that push to the Aegis usage there. They can completely reset. They can start pressure top again soon. Or if they really want to, they can wait the next Roshan respawn.
And this Ags timing from the Witch Doctor here. I mean, you know what happens when you have a 1 lane of Rax and 6 tower advantage, or 7 tower advantage, but... Oh, no, not advantage, but 7 towers down. That's the point I'm trying to make. You get a lot of gold on your Witch Doctor. It turns into a very hefty pickup, and it is going to be the Aghanim Scepter on that Death Ward. So that means that if by some way they can prevent him from getting stunned, which will be difficult considering the draft they're up against, that Death Ward could win the fight by itself. And most of these heroes are pretty low armor. Craggy brings Tiny up to 23 armor, but everybody else is probably around like 6 or below, at least between the Wisp and the Magnus. Yeah, he's at 7. So if you're hitting the Wisp or the Zeus or the Magnus here, they're just going to get shredded.
I feel like there's a really good chance he gets off a long duration Death Ward as well. The RP is always going to be used on the front lines to try and fight and initiate around. So, I mean, Witch Doctor should never be getting caught in the RP. Last fight, his Death Ward got cancelled by a Vacuum. If you're using Vacuum to cancel the Death Ward and not in like a team fight wombo combo, I feel like that's
has no buyback
anyway.
If they get the snowball, has no buyback. They have to relocate him out now. He's gonna pop the Ghost Scepter. They're gonna force staff him away. They don't ice shards it. Oh, the ice shards actually making it so they can't lock down the Darkseer. He will now be hit by the Viper Strike, and he's gonna be nuked down. It's a dieback for the Darkseer, and a silence on the Maybe. The Magnus will not get the RP, and that is gonna break the base wide open. The Death Ward bringing an MMY, bringing down Xiao 8, the Tombstone Zombie, trying to finish it off, but one whack of the tree will at least clean that one up. Still, there is no buyback button. Anybody but the Tiny. Zeus is healing up on the Fountain, while their tier 3 is in shambles here. Fortification coming up in 15 seconds, but it's not going to be up in time for the Rax unless they make a desperate maneuver here. Sylar looking for an opening, looking for opportunity, but it won't come. They have lost 2 full lanes of Rax, and Empire make their way to make it 3. The AC is on the courier, not here yet, but they might be able to just end it here.
LGD played one of the best game ones I've seen in months of Dota 2, but Empire bounced back in such a strong way. 2 good drafts in a row, a really questionable Game 3 draft from LG. I have no idea what they were thinking going for such a risky, volatile draft, but here we go. It looks like Empire going to take Game 3, one last fight to seal the deal. Now on the front lines, he just can't attack. The Viper pick has been the hero. RT comes in from the side and trying to return the time hit. The wall is there, but I don't think it's going to be enough play.
Yeah, I mean, we see Silent doing some good damage here. Nice skewer onto Resolution, but he's got plenty of HP left to work with, and he has an AC now, so they just burn them all down. We're going to see the Ghost Scepter come out for, that's going to just delay his inevitable death as the 2 cores just right-click him down, and Sylar is left all alone. Pops the final level of Grow. Silent unstoppable with a triple kill, and a very deserved win, bringing them to the quarterfinals, bringing them into the money for the MarsTV Dota 2 League here. This was the match they needed to win to advance forward. They're going to be going up against Vici Gaming in the semifinals, and that'll actually be a kind of a rematch of the D2CL finals, where Empire was actually able to 2-0/3-0 them with a 1-game advantage. So that was all